Hi, today we will focus on the theorem of Pythagoras. Pythagoras is a great mathematician. He is the one who proved this theorem. So this theorem is named after him, and that is why it is called Theorem of Pythagoras. So the Pythagorean theorem states that in a right angle triangle, the sum of the squares of the two right angle sides will always be the same as the square of the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is the longest side. So let's look at this triangle, and let's assume that this is the right angles triangle, and this is the right angle. So you know what is a right angled triangle? Right angled triangle is a triangle which one angle is 90 degree. So this is the hypotenuse and this is the sides on right angle. So the theorem says the sum of the squares of the two right angle sides. So these are the two right angle sides. So it is a squared plus b squared is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. So the square of the hypotenuse is c squared. You can also remember this from this equation. We can deduct that is a squared is equal to c squared. You bring this to this side, it becomes minus b squared. And also remember, if you want to find the other side, that is this side, so it will be, then you have to form the equation b squared equals c squared minus a squared. So when you are calculating this, the hypotenuse, what do we write? C squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, that is the square of the other two sides, the right angle side, and you add them. So remember this equations. Then let's look at some of the the examples here. We have to find the length of the unknown sides here. So in this case, it is a right angle triangle, and remember Pythagoras theorem is used to find the length of the unknown side in a right angle triangle. It works only in a right angle triangle. So in this case, this is a right angle, and then the hypotenuse is this, and that the length of that side is, we don't know. So I'm going to write it as x. So we always use the alphabets to calculate to label the unknown. Okay, then let's write the equation. The first thing is you write the equation, and then after that you can solve for that unknown letter. Okay, so it is this, we are going to find the hypotenuse. So x squared is equal to the sum of the squares of the right angle side. So this one plus that one. So it will be 8 squared plus 12 squared. Then 8 squared is 64 plus 12 squared is 144. That is equal to 208. Then that is the value of x squared, but we want the x. So find the square root. So it will be x is equal to square root of 208. That is equal to 14,4. Then in this case, the unknown side, we know the hypotenuse. This is the hypotenuse, and this is the one of the right angle side. So this side we don't know, so we write that one as the x. Then let's say that this is centimeter and this is centimeter. Okay, so let's write the equation first. As you know from the first example here, if you are calculating one of the right angle side, you have to minus, that is the hypotenuse minus the other, the hypotenuse squared minus the square of the other side. So in this case, x squared is going to be equal to, this is the hypotenuse, so it is 15 squared minus 7 squared. So 15 squared here is 225 minus 7 squared is 49. So that will be equal to, x squared is equal to 176. Then we have to find the square root. So x is equal to 13,2664. Goes on like that. So if you want to round off to 2 decimal places, then what do? You look at the third decimal, that is 6. Then you add 1 to the second one, the decimal place. Then you add it, that is 2. 6 plus 1 is 7. That is equal to 13,27 centimeter. That is corrected to 2 decimal places, rounded off to 2 decimal places. Then let's do more examples here. Calculate the length of the diagonal of the rectangle. So the diagonal of the rectangle, so the diagonal is, this is the one, this line is the diagonal, the line joining the corners, corner to corner, that one across. So then we know it is a rectangle. That means you must use the properties of rectangle. We know the rectangle, each side, each angle is 90 degree, and then also the opposite sides are equal. So this is 28 millimeters, so this is also 28 millimeters. Then we will focus on this right angle triangle here. Then the diagonal is the longest side, it is x. So let's calculate the diagonal, the length of the diagonal. So what do we write? Let's first write the equation using the Pythagoras theorem. X squared is equal to sum of the squares of the other two sides. So it is 28 millimeter squared plus 21 millimeter squared. Then that is equal to 28 squared is 784 millimeter squared plus 21 squared is 441 millimeter squared. When we add that, we'll get 1255 millimeter squared, that is x squared. Now we find the square root. So x is equal, square root of x squared is x, square root of 1225 millimeter squared. So that is equal to 35. The square root of millimeter squared is millimeter. So x is equal to 35 millimeters. So the length of the diagonal is 35 millimeters. Then the next one, you have to calculate the length of AB. What is given here is the length of AD is 7 centimeter. We know this one is CB or BC is 8 centimeter, and this length here is 10 centimeter. And now you have to find AB. So let's say that this is the length is x. But if you look at this figure, there are we can see three triangles, 1, 2, and the big triangle. So there are the small triangle and the big one are the right angle triangle. And if we use the big triangle, we have a problem. We only know this side here, AD, this length AD, that is 7 centimeter, but we don't know the length of CD. So first thing, we find the length CD. So for that we will use this small triangle. Right, then in this small triangle, this is 10 centimeter is the hypotenuse and these two are the right angle sides. So let's write the equation first. So x square, so we have to name this. So let's say it is m. So m squared is equal to, or you can even use CD. It is fine. So let's use CD squared is equal to, what is it? The hypotenuse squared minus the other square of the other side. So 10 squared is 100 minus 8 squared is 64. Then you get 36. So CD is equal to square root of 36, that is equal to 6. So the moment you get that, you can write it here. So then the whole distance, this whole length here is 7 plus 6 is 13 centimeter. Now we can find the value of x. So let's calculate the x here. So we will use the big triangle. So it will be x squared. This x is the hypotenuse, so x squared is equal to 13 squared plus 8 squared. That is equal to 13 squared is 169 plus 8 squared is 64. So when you add this, we will get 233. That is x squared. So take the square root. So you get x is equal to square root of 233 is 15,26 rounded off to 2 decimal places. And then what is missing here is centimeters. So remember to write the unit centimeter and here also centimeter. Then the last question here is a word sum. So we use the Pythagoras theorem in the real life. A ladder is standing against the wall. If the ladder reaches the height of 12 meter up the wall and has its foot 5 meter away from it, calculate the length of the ladder. So this is the ladder. So we are going to calculate the length of the ladder. So we name it as x. Then this is the wall. Here is the wall, and the wall and the ground is always 90 degree. Okay, so this is the 90 degree. This is the side opposite to 90 degree is the hypotenuse, or the longer side is a hypotenuse. So we will find the equation first. X squared is equal to 12 squared plus 5 squared. So then that is equal to 144 plus 25. That will give you 169. That is x squared. So x is equal to square root of 169. X is equal to 13 meter. So what is our x? X is the length of the ladder. So the length of the ladder is 13 meter. Thank you for watching.